Hi there and welcome back to AutumnAfar, and welcome back to those of you who joined me before. As always, any links that I've used as part of my research are going to be linked down in the description box below, and I invite you to do your own research to see what would work best for you and to form your own opinion on this subject. Today we're going to be talking about souvenirs. Bringing home souvenirs is something that just about everybody I know looks forward to. It's something that a lot of people look into before they go anywhere because they have preferences, but not everybody necessarily knows what they want to bring back in advance. So this is going to be a video talking about what your options are, generally speaking, and what I find is the best souvenir or the best souvenirs to bring back from any trip. Most of these are going to be items that are widely available and items that you can get in just about any destination, because if you try and be a little bit too niche, you're gonna run the risk of not finding an item if you go to a smaller area or to a place that does not necessarily import things the way others do. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is magnets. So many people collect magnets now, it's ridiculous. I am one of those people. I have different magnets. I've got one here from New Zealand. I've got one here. One of my favorites is one of the first ones that I ever got was from Venice. One of my all-time favorites is actually this little turtle. And I'll see if I can get a close-up shot of it. And it is a hand-painted dot art turtle that I got when I was in the Northern Territory in Australia near Uluru, and I absolutely adore this. It is easily my favorite magnet, which is really funny because I have some really wonderful magnets. I also have people bring me magnets, like this one that my best friend got me when she went to Switzerland. And she was like, oh, I know you like magnets, so she brought me one back, which was very sweet. Magnets are really popular because they're small, they're lightweight, they're easy to carry. If you get them in a decent material like wood or metal, generally speaking, they don't break. I have had some that were made of clay that we got in Cuba, and they made it home, but unfortunately they fell off the board that we have and they broke, which is really unfortunate because they were absolutely beautiful, hand painted. And we ended up having to throw them out because there was no way we could repair it because the clay just crumbled. They're also pretty durable when they're not breakable. However, they can deteriorate over time as well. I've had a couple that have the magnet fall off the back and then they fall off the board or the fridge, but you can pretty much get them anywhere you go. I don't think I've ever been anywhere where they did not sell magnets, so they're a really safe bet. Another item that is insanely popular to bring back are postcards. Postcards are fantastic. They're very slim, they're insanely lightweight, and very often you can get multiple postcards for only a few dollars. This is a set that I got while I was in Rome, and the guy walked around and sold us postcards, and I think I got these. It's 20 of them. I think I got them for something like €1, and they've got really beautiful scenes of all over Rome. Let me see if I can find. So this is San Pietro, which I believe is right by the Vatican, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure if that's clear. There are also a couple different ones. This is the Trevi Fountain. So they give you a lot of variety, and my teachers who came with me while I was in Europe were not necessarily impressed with the fact that so many of us were buying postcards from this guy because they thought it was like a scam, but I'm still pretty happy with the results. I mean, we get some really beautiful images, and I honestly didn't, some of the things that are here I did not see in other places. And some of the things, especially when you're buying a postcard that have people, will end up being potentially a limited edition item, even if it's a little bit longer, like this one of Pope Benedict, who I believe was the Pope when I visited in 2013. Obviously, people don't live forever, and so images of the Pope and world leaders or things of that nature, athletes, something like that, if it's the Olympics are going on, or even Olympic mascots. I know I have a few stickers and stuff from the Vancouver Olympics that were sold here in Canada around the time of the Olympics in 2010. They're fantastic, and the issue that I have with postcards is that sometimes they are expensive, which is very unfortunate, but you also have to consider that people are trying to make money off of these. And if you're going to be traveling for a long time and they're not stored properly, they could be destroyed. I've had postcards get wet, get ripped, get bent. And obviously that is not something that people appreciate. So it's definitely something that you need to consider. Another thing that has really quickly become one of the most popular souvenirs, at least from what I've seen, are shot glasses. Shot glasses are something that people can display along with things like coffee cups. As far as I'm aware, the only international chain that does it is Starbucks. They sell mugs with the location on the mug and people display them, and it can be really, really beautiful if it's well done. People build their own displays for them. But shot glasses are things that people can dole out at a party or at an event if they're hosting something, and it's a good way to keep track of which one was yours. They look fantastic, but they can be hard to find in some places, and typically shot glasses are made of glass. So you do run the risk of, if your bag gets pushed underneath something or pushed up against something and they're not properly stored, they could be broken. So very often you have to keep them in your carry-on. So that's something to consider when it comes to buying something that is breakable. Something that is really, really increasing in popularity is buying art. I first bought art as part of my trip when we went to Europe, and again I was in Rome, and we were walking, I don't remember what piazza we were at, but we were walking around and this guy was painting, and I have a few here, and they're absolutely stunning. I actually had people who were angry at me because they wanted one of the ones that I got, but I'll put this here. So I'll kind of show them one by one. I'll keep talking. I want to make sure that it shows properly. Ooh. There we go. I think you can see that. If not, I will insert a photo of each individual one. Let's see here. So these are all watercolor, and they're absolutely beautiful. I have 3 of them. I got 3 of these for something like 20 euros. This is the second one. And these are really incredibly popular because, like the postcards, it is something that is really, really beautiful. You can actually display these and no one would think twice about it. And then at the same time, it's a really beautiful way to remember your trip, because you'll remember where you were and you'll remember how you felt kind of when you first saw it, which, here, I'll just show you. If anybody knows him, if anybody recognizes the signature, I don't know, send me his link to his Instagram or something, because I'm sure he has one now. There's just something really special about purchasing art, especially purchasing something from someone who is so incredibly talented, and something that they've obviously worked very hard on, and it's something I try and do whenever I can. It's not always possible, unfortunately, but every place I'm able to go that I'm able to purchase something that someone has made themselves is a really special experience. Another thing that people make and that has become it's still very niche because sometimes they are very expensive, but it's pieces of jewelry. I don't personally have currently any pieces of jewelry that I purchased from an artisan while I was traveling. I have purchased pieces of jewelry in various places, but nothing specific. It can be quite expensive to purchase them, especially if you're buying any kind of precious metals or stones, but a lot of people do it. I do also find it a little bit dangerous, and you also might potentially have to declare it when you return to your country, depending on what the rules are for declarations. The jewelry often is absolutely beautiful and very specific to the region, and it makes a really great gift as well, but it's not something that I necessarily go for. Something else that a lot of people are starting to purchase that is a little bit contentious depending on what it is they're purchasing is clothing. I've seen a lot of different clothing that you're able to bring back. Very popular are t-shirts and hoodies with the names or logos of a place that you're visiting. Handbags, hats, t-shirts, barbecue aprons, which I'm very confused by because I don't get barbecue aprons. There are a couple places you can purchase really beautiful leather goods, and I know not everyone wears leather, but it is something that a lot of people are willing to pay a lot of money for. You can get shoes, bags, jackets, sometimes made to order, made to your specific size. The issue with some of the mass-produced items that you would purchase are that they are poor quality, and the ones that are made to measure are very, very expensive. So that's something to keep in mind if you're going to be purchasing any kind of items. And also, it's something that you would be adding to your bag, so it would be added weight to your luggage, and you would have to factor that in to make sure you're still not going over. Some of the other things that are kind of one-off pieces that you can't necessarily get anywhere else, or that won't be the same, that are pieces of local history or mythology that are unique to a place, are, I find, even more special. One example that I have is this little drawstring Pinocchio that I got while I was in Rome. He doesn't do much, but it's really cute. Pinocchio was actually written in Florence in 1881, but I didn't get a little Pinocchio doll when I was in Florence, unfortunately, but I did end up getting one in Rome. Other things that a lot of people will bring back with them from cities like Venice are blown glass, which can be very, very expensive. If you're going to France, you can get macarons. I get macarons here and they're fantastic, but apparently in France they're even better. While I was in New Zealand and in Tasmania, a lot of different places sold honey. In New Zealand specifically, they sell Manuka honey, which is absolutely fantastic, but very, very expensive, and it is regulated almost ferociously. Other people will bring back wines. While I was in New Zealand, we went to St. Clair's and we went and did a wine tasting in, I believe it's the Marlborough region in New Zealand. Here in Montreal and in Quebec, we have ice wines and maple wines. Some people enjoy gin. Other people will bring back maple syrup products. In Australia, I was encouraged to bring back and was actually sent Vegemite and Tim Tams. There are countless other things that people could bring back, and some people have decided that they simply want nothing more from their trip than to take pictures, and so that's what they do. They don't buy anything there, and they take pictures and bring their memories home with them. And honestly, I kind of like that. One last thing that I wanted to mention, mostly because I've got one that hangs on my wall, are keychains. Keychains are something that I see pretty much everywhere I go, but I almost never see anybody buy them. The exception would be of little ones like this little Eiffel Tower that I bought while I was in France. I don't know if that's clear. So a lot of people buy these little Eiffel Towers. I also got this little spinning die while I was in Rome with different faces and stuff on it. And one of my favorites, there we go. So I had a coworker who went to visit her family in Russia, and she brought me back this adorable little nesting doll keychain, and I still have it and I see it every day. I think of her very often, and I really can't wait to go and visit Russia and maybe bring back some nesting dolls of my own. So that is all I have for you today. Thank you again so much for joining me. I really, really appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them down below in the comment section. And if you have any suggestions for future videos, you can always connect with me either in the comments or on social media. I'm at AutumnAfar on everything. And remember that it's important to collect memories, not just things. I'll see you next time.